up, guys? It's your girl Stacey Cake, your host for What's Hot, and today I am here to talk about the Netflix hit Office Romance. Everybody is so excited because J-Lo is in a new rom-com, and you know that is her thing. Monster in Law was one of my favorite movies forever. Like every time it would come on TV, I had to watch it. I had to see it through. I loved it. So I recently watched The Office Romance, and I got some things to say. We're gonna dive into, does the chemistry work in between the love interests in this film? So if you like this type of content, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment, and let's get into it. So Netflix's Office Romance is trending. It stars Jennifer Lopez and Brett Goldstein. So I wanted to see this film because it had received mixed reviews. Like Variety said that the two lacked the magic formula for like a good rom-com. And then the Prague Reporter said they had a genuine chemistry. But then you had the rap that says Old Parker builds crackling chemistry between the two. So I wanted to dive more into this and just kind of see what my opinion was. So to kind of get into this, I want to start with 2 to 3 scenes that kind of relay whether or not this chemistry works here, and then I'm going to give my verdict at the end. So I think the film started off really strong. I love kind of like seeing both Jackie Cruz and Daniel Blanchflower kind of interact on these separate kind of one-on-one meetings, dates. And then I think the scene that first kind of establishes some chemistry between the two, or is meant to establish some chemistry between the two, is the scene where Brett Goldstein's character Daniel meets Jackie Cruz for the first time when he comes to become her company's attorney. She's in the midst of a lawsuit, and she needs a professional to represent the company and get her out of this situation. So when we see him kind of walk in and meet her, and then it's like an instant attraction, specifically on his side. When he sees her, she's like glowing, the whole 9 yards, and we can see he's instantly gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for Jackie Cruz. Now, I will say, like, for this scene in particular, I felt like it actually caused me to be like, yeah, like this is phony type vibes. But I think this is where the comedy and the rom-com kind of comes up, because obviously, like, J-Lo is a beautiful, fine thing. Okay, she always has been. But I felt like the phony part for me was when she turns to see him and he's seeing her like in this glowing kind of halo light. And I feel like it didn't register seriously. Like those effects didn't register seriously. Like I get what the intention was, and I think it was meant to be a little wonky. It was meant to be a little funny, but it just didn't land for me personally. But I guess that was how they were trying to establish the initial attraction, or communicate initial attraction between the two for the viewer. So I think that scene was pivotal. It sets the foundation for what we have going forward. The next scene that I feel like really tests the chemistry between the two characters is the Dominican Republic trip, specifically when they are having dinner. J-Lo kind of, her character Jackie, initiates asking him to dinner on the trip. This is supposed to be a work trip, but obviously there's some attraction still brewing between the two. However, I feel like this is still like it's only been obvious sexual attraction this far, because the previous scene, like we kind of saw with them, was he got like a boner the first time they were alone. It was just like really dramatic and huge. So then we fast forward to them in the Dominican Republic, and they were at dinner, and this is where I feel like was the strongest kind of scene of establishing chemistry between these characters, because we get to see them actually communicate. We get to see them vibe, and kind of things kind of unfold seemingly naturally in this scene. And I think it was the smoothest development of romance in the whole movie to me. And I think when they get up and she encourages him to dance, and then they kind of lend to a kiss, their first kiss. I just think this was really well done, and kind of made me become like more invested to see where it goes. But then they kind of take it straight to the bed after, which I wasn't surprised about. But I feel like this lends into the criticism that the film kind of like was more on the raunchy side, and because every time we get a little bit of romance, it just jumps back to sex. Last scene that I think is pivotal in establishing some chemistry or testing the chemistry between these characters is their rekindle. So we have the scene where at the press conference where Jackie Cruz is deciding, is she gonna step down, or is she gonna have her try to defend herself for having a relationship or some type of situationship with her lawyer and maintain being the CEO of the airline. And we see her decide to take a stance and defend their love, and he kind of gives a speech that's a little TMI, but I think what really tests the chemistry here is, are they able to evoke emotion and make you believe in their love when it's not sexual? And I feel like that is from mannerisms. That's how they look at each other. That's how they like hold each other. And I feel that they did an okay job here, but I feel like it was because we didn't get really that kind of one-on-one moment with them, it kind of got lost a little bit. And also he brought it right back to sex. So it was like, yes, I think they established some attraction here, and they tried to establish some, again, some more comedy and resolve things. So I do think they really locked eyes really well, and they had some awe moments between each other and some awe looks that I feel like were memorable, and him approaching her proud and strong, you know, really were great. And there's no shade on the acting, but I just feel like it was some intimacy that just felt a little lost. And I don't know, I think they just needed a deeper kind of one-on-one moment, more towards the end of this film than we got. With that scene, like, we needed something else, because in them trying to be humorous, I feel like it always came back to sex. Another scene that kept coming up for me while I was talking about this, where I feel like their chemistry really was strong, was again in the Dominican Republic. They were sitting on the patio and room services coming in, and they're kind of like playing the full couple role here in front of the room service lady, playing husband and wife. I feel like their chemistry was really the strongest in the DR. Them kind of like the morning after their rendezvous, they are like on the patio, they're having breakfast, their kiss exchanges. I feel like the moments in the DR felt the most genuine to me while I was watching this film. That was really, I feel like, one of the most pivotal moments in testing the chemistry between these characters. So my verdict: does the chemistry in this film work? I would say attraction works here, but chemistry, I wouldn't say so. I feel like we didn't really get to establish any commonality between the characters. We just know they wanted to bone each other. Like, I feel like it was a raunchy comedy more than a romantic comedy. And while it was enjoyable, it wasn't intense. It didn't make you like feel romance between them. It was just a high sexual like kind of attraction. And I also feel like they made Goldstein's character just too dumb to be a lawyer. Like, I get he was supposed to be in love and it was making him like kind of lose his wits and his savviness, but I feel like some of the unprofessional kind of outbursts and things from him, he just did it too frequently, and I feel like it kind of made me lose the plot a little bit, or lose the believability of his character. He was just like a little too wonky for me. And again, I feel like even in those moments, the scenes that we talked about, it always jumped right back to sex. Their initial meeting was pretty strong, but it was kind of corny, I feel like. But the initial attraction was pretty cool when they first met. But then, like, he turns around, he gets a boner the first time they're alone. Funny, but we never leave that kind of arena of interest for them. Like that's the only thing they seem to have in common is that they're super sexually attracted to each other. And then we go to like the other scene, the DR, I feel like was probably again the strongest moments, but you know, that's when they have their first sexual encounter, and then they go on the plane, they're having sex on the plane on the way back. And it's like it's all great, and I think that definitely could have still been incorporated. What else do they have? Those moments, those display of intimate moments without just sex is what makes the chemistry more believable, you know? And even like I said, even in the scene where he's like establishing that they're going to get back together at the press conference, he brings up the boner from the beginning. So it's just like, oh, like it's funny, but I would call this more of a raunchy comedy than a rom-com. And I feel like it kind of, I would define it less as chemistry and more as sexual attraction. And I feel like they just made his character too dumb for it to be, for the chemistry to be believable in this film. But overall, I would still recommend watching. It's a funny watch. It's not a family watch, but it's a funny watch. And I will say, I've seen Scary Movie and I've seen this, and I've just been seeing a lot more genitalia in films than I expected. I don't know what this trend is coming from, but I think we need to ease off the soft porn just a little. But other than that, I would definitely recommend watching it. It's a good kiki, you know, it's a good, you know, chilling at home, don't have nothing else to watch. It's chill. Is it my favorite Jennifer Lopez rom-com? Absolutely not. But, you know, it's cute. It's something to watch. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think the chemistry between J-Lo and Brett Goldstein worked? Or do you think it left something to be desired? Do you feel like the film was too raunchy? Or, yeah, what do you think? Like, share, subscribe, and comment if you like this type of content. And I'll see you guys next time.